Right, welcome to Auction Arithmetic by RevSportz, presented by Fanatic Sports. It is finally over, gentlemen, but no, I can't say that. I can't say it's not over. It's still on, but we kind of almost come to the end finally. Quite a lot of theatrics and drama there for everyone to watch, but we finally pulled through all of that. Thank you so much, Deep Das Gupta, Veda Krishnamurthy, and Anand Vasu to making it this far to this weekend. Congratulations to you. And of course, Joydeep Mukherjee, lovely framing there, making it through to these 2 long days. Thank you so much for joining in. What we are going to do, since we've obviously spoken about every team, every franchise over the last 2 days, we've kind of analyzed every little phase that all of them went through. I think what we can do now safely, and barring a few movements that were there heavily for certain teams, I think safe to say, and a quick word from all of y'all, from Chennai Super Kings, safe to say that they pull back a bit towards the end with a few key guys there, and a word on Mumbai Indians as well. Going to just leave it open. Everyone taking turns can start off. Anyone can start off, please.
I'll start for this one time and get ahead of Deep. Only because I think that Chennai performance was completely unexpected and quite stunning. It was a bit like one of those Dhoni innings where he takes it really deep before attacking when he's chasing a score. You never know whether it's going to come off or not. But I think compared to where they were yesterday, Chennai now have a strong 11 they can put on the park. Maybe perhaps not the depth and the number of options that some of the other teams may have. But I think this was some serious recovery from Chennai.
All right. Deep, Joyda, Veda.
Okay. Sorry.
Deep, normally when you're batting, you open. Now we're fielding. So that's why Anand started. Anyway, Deep, you're bowling from the other end.
Right. Sorry. So quickly, I'd say, I completely agree with Anand. I think generally, as we've mentioned before, they don't use too many players any which way. And you're looking at that playing 11 or roughly around 14, 15. I think there is enough and more there. Again, this has the stamp of MSD, the leader, MSD, the mentor, that team there. Quite a few all-rounders. And I think, few really good buys like Dwayne Pretorius as maybe a backup for someone like a Dwayne Bravo, Shivam Dubey, somebody like Ambati Raidu, Shivam Dubey, all these guys. I think it's a good side. Mahesh Diksana, and then as a backup, you've got another leggy, Prashant Solanki. I've watched him a few times. The Mumbai leggy was very impressive. So yeah, I think all in all, good buys. And again, buys like Devon Conway and all. It's very CSK kind of buys, and it's like very true to that philosophy and that culture.
Yep, well said there. And Joyda, just
I feel they did get a steal in Adam Milne as well, someone who could bowl 140 plus. They were missing out on that, losing Hazelwood. I think he will be a great addition with Deepak Chahar and the other bowlers. Like, I feel like
they got Chris Jordan as well towards the end.
Like we were like wondering what they were up to, but I think they were very smart in picking up, and they've got it for less surprise. And Devon Conway, whatever little international games he's played, he's been someone who you can bank on at the top of the order, and I think that is CSK's formula. They want a steady opener. Losing out on Faf, I think that's a good buy as well. Overall, CSK is looking good. They've got a couple of all-rounders. They've got Tamil Nadu players as well. So people were saying they don't buy CSK player like Tamil Nadu players, but they did manage to get Jagdishan and
Harinisha.
Yeah. So I feel that connect also is nice. They did go for their players. So good team. Good 11, 12. They don't rotate much. So I think they did go for wicket keepers as well, like hard in the end. But they were just trying to keep backups, I guess. But overall, I feel they would be happy with what they have.
Yeah, they bought back essentially Jaggi and all of those guys who were with them for the last few seasons, especially Jaggi when he got a game in a couple of seasons earlier. So he basically got them all back. One happy family, yes, at the end of the day. But just one important buy as well in the last session, which we saw, was that of Jofra Archer. Mumbai Indians kind of going hard and saving up for them. Just a word on that as well before we move into rating every squad on the table.
Well, that's what Akash also spoke later on, saying that we were saving up for him. I mean, it looks really good on paper. Social media has gone crazy about Bumrah and Archer opening, but that is still going to happen next year, provided he recovers. It's been quite some time that he's injured. It's not like he's been injured for 6 months and he's back playing. He's been injured almost 2 years now. That is also going to be very tricky. I mean, I like the idea of Archer and Bumrah bowling together. It's going to look amazing, provided that it happens, and hopefully it happens soon in the next IPL.
Anyone else wants to get in a word here before we
Yeah,
start?
just on that, they started the morning with 27.85 in the kitties, and right now they've got 1.5 left. So obviously they came in nice and hungry with a big shopping cart, which is good. We knew that because they have some players in place, and obviously they went all out for Ishan Kishan yesterday, and today they had their plans in place. And although I know Akash Ambani came and said that yesterday we were this and that, it was all planned. Mumbai and Chennai are probably the two most well planned franchises. You don't get success only just by having MSD as captain or Rohit as captain. There's a lot of planning that goes on. There's a lot of retainership that goes on behind. And also, I'm not surprised with going back to just Chennai for a minute with the team, because Dhoni doesn't like too many changes. Even when he was captain of India, there weren't too many changes. It was brilliant at the toss. Any changes? None. Same team. So it was like that. But now you see, since he's gone, 2 changes, 3 changes, 4 changes every game. So he likes continuity. That gives you a sense of belonging. And Mumbai also will be happy. They are already at a strong squad and they are really looking good now.
And our panel look like a King David fan club, and I'm sure they'd be happy. Him going for big money. He did well today in the game as well. He scored from 70 odd in the PSL. He's someone who's like turning out to be a good player, and I think with him and Pollard batting, like we spoke yesterday, Mumbai depends a lot on their number 5, 6 coming and going big, like big hitters. So I think that is kind of sorted, and he's a good player, and I am very happy that he's gone to a team where they believe that he's going to do it. I'm telling because RCB had him last time and they didn't use him. So hopefully his potential will be unleashed this IPL.
And which is why Prantik is not with us. He's with him.
So hopefully, go on, Deep.
Yeah.
Go on.
Sorry. For me, I think the squad is more forward-looking. I think this squad looks more like a squad for the maybe next couple of years or even future-wise. With Brevis and Tilak Verma. Tilak Verma is a really good batter. Ramandeep and all these guys. I mean, there are a lot of. I mean, even Jofra Archer. I mean, Jofra Archer. I don't know. For me, the jury is still out there whether it's a good idea or not. I mean, it looks on paper and the hype around it's brilliant. Nobody has a clue when he's coming back. He was supposed to come back a year ago. He hasn't. He's had 2 operations of his elbow now. So unless there are bigger plans in place, I am not too sure. I'm not too sure how long he's going to continue playing the longest format. Maybe he's going to retire sometime soon, looking at all the injuries and also. But as of now, it looks nice. It sounds nice, but I'm not too sure about that Jofra Archer buy. If it comes good, brilliant. Next year, if he's available, brilliant. Then obviously it's a great idea. But again, for me, the jury's still out there. They will be very competitive this season as well. But like I said, I think this team is more for the future rather than this current year.
Anand, you were wanting to.
Yeah, I just wanted to say with Mumbai, if you look at their spending, they've literally spent a major chunk of their budget on 3 players, one of whom is not going to play in this edition at least, which is a bit of a risky strategy. I mean, it's not unheard of that a couple of players get injured during the course of an IPL season. They would then have invested quite a lot of money on very few players, and if they get injured, then they are stuck with a very different team from what they originally imagined. It would take right now just 2 injuries to Ishan Kishan or unavailability to Tim David, and then
Bumrah.
the side looks
Anand, Bumrah.
completely different. Yeah.
I mean, listen, they
Oh,
have Jaidev.
the Bumrah has been well rested. The Bumrah
Yeah,
has
but Jaidev Unadkar is the only Indian seamer apart from Bumrah.
And
Something
Basil
got.
Thampi.
Yeah, I mean Basil Thampi. Yeah, sorry, Basil Thampi as well. And then suddenly, sorry, Anand, go on, continue. Sorry.
No, that's fine. I've made my point. Go.
So yeah, I mean, even if you look at that middle order, I mean, it sounds good. Tim David, Kieran Pollard in the middle overs, But then again, Surya at 3, who's at 4? You've got to have somebody at 4. Kieran Pollard, okay, 4. Then what? Sanjay Yadav, again a youngster coming through the ranks now. I don't know whether he's ready straight away for this season or not.
He's been around for a while. He's been in the IPL circuit for a while. Probably not had as many games as a lot of them, but
Fair enough. But my point is, then I mean, for a champion team, at times, I mean, like I said, I mean, this is more of a team for the future. But as Anand mentioned, this is a bit of a risk that they've taken. Maybe it's a conscious plan or a game plan going forward.
And they need everybody to be healthy. They need everybody to be playing every game.
And
That's the way the squad looks. I agree with Deep on this.
And not to forget, they are one of the franchise who wants to win. They are not going to be happy if they're not going to make to the final. So I don't know how they've changed their mind and looking for the future.
But Veda, it was very interesting. I'm sure all of you did hear that interview with Akash Ambani, and he said, we want to be competitive this year. That sentence kind of was kind of a giveaway as far as I'm concerned, that they're not really looking to be champions this season, but maybe build a team for the future.
Just one point, and we can move on to rating these two teams. We're speaking about what Akash said, and I distinctly remember what MS said after that win. I think when he was with the team, and everyone was obviously, it was a very emotional win last year. And he said, there's still 5. There's still 5 left. So there's a lot of that sense of, wanting to compete, and especially between a CSK and MI, that's always evident there. So, yes, I mean, I think that rivalry is something we're still going to wait and see a lot more of. But quickly, guys, rating CSK squad, MI squad. Let's go from on a scale of 1 to 10. What would you give it?
Okay, CSK, I'd say 8 out of 10. And MI, I'd say maybe 6.5 out of 10.
Okay.
I'll go with 8 and 7.
Same.
8 to Chennai, 7 to Mumbai.
Same, 8 and 7.
I'm gonna go 8 and 6.5, same as Deep.
Okay. Okay.
So we have our teams ready. We have our teams ready, Veda.
Yes. You are anyways in a pretty Bollywood setup, and the auction's turning out to be a Bollywood movie. So
yeah, Charu actually drove me to this. I got all this ready. I thought instead of listening to Charu, I might as well do this, which is why I'm looking a lot different from morning. This is all I've been doing all day. Make sure that we talk about something else.
Speaking of a bit of a Bollywood plot, let's go across to the owner of one of them. One of the owners of KKR, Shah Rukh's team. How do you guys rate that one so far? Just a few little rustling up buys towards the end, but if you had to quickly rate that particular squad, and what do you base that on? What we kind of recap of it.
Well, I like for the fact that they did get Alex Hale and Sam Billings at the end of the auction. It just gives a balance. We were talking about them not having a wicketkeeper apart from Sheldon Jackson. I think Sam Billings, he's someone who's done really well. Personally, very happy for Alex Hales. He's been playing in all the leagues and scoring a lot of runs, but still not getting picked. And I think that is it's like a breakthrough, like a comeback for him. That I think should give solidarity at the top of the order, because with Venki Iyer, Ajinkya Rahane, maybe not, to have someone like Alex Hales at the top of the order should be something which is going to work for them, considering how middle order is with with Nitish Rana or Shreyas Iyer coming at 3, at 4. I think it just brings a dynamic player at the top, someone who has experience of playing these leagues. But I feel they did a pretty good job with whatever they had at the end of it by picking a few key players and getting them for lesser price.
So you rate them?
I would rate them about 8.
Okay, that's a lot. Okay, cool. All right. Let's go to anyone else, guys, quickly.
Yeah, I thought that the two foreigners who definitely play will be Sunil and Andre Russell, and of course Pat Cummins. Those three are taken care of. Now, whether it's Alex Hales or Sam Billings depends on how Sheldon Jackson does. We might get a go first up. They might go with Alex Hales because it also depends who bats where, like Veda was saying. But yeah, it looks a decent squad. They're better off today. They've got a second keep. They've got, along with Sheldon Jackson, they've got Sam Billings. I'm not so sure how much Baba Indujit, they were showing him as a keeper. I don't know how much he's kept. You will know more about that, Rupa.
He has.
But,
He's quite a decent.
No, we are not sure about Pat Cummins being there at the beginning of it with whatever tour is scheduled. The Pakistan
so
tour.
they have a Tim Saudi over there to fill in, I suppose.
Yeah, so I think they just have like players and then like good backups for them.
Yeah.
I think that is why I'm saying I feel that they've picked all the box, like relatively ticked all the box. So it might not look as good as a Delhi players or as good as Lucknow when it comes to the names and the hype of the player. But I still feel that they have the players for the roles to play. So that is why I'm saying, at the last few buys, I think they've just found the mistake.
I'll give it a 6. Yeah, I'll give it a 6 because I think the bowling is really looking good, but the batting is thin.
Okay. Deepta?
Well, I think the playing 11 looks all right. But again, I think we've discussed this before. As far as the injuries are concerned and other things are concerned, because they don't have when you're looking at the spinning option, they only have Sunil Lara and Varun Chakravarti, right? Again, Andre Russell they may have a replacement in Chamika Karunaratne, but spinning option, not too many.
They have Anukul Roy.
Yeah, we haven't really seen him bowl and bat. We've seen regularly him field. One of the fielders.
Excellent field.
Excellent fielder. So we haven't really seen him as in bat and bowl that much, but yeah, he's left spinner batter. Yeah, so it's a decent side as far as I'm concerned. Playing 11 good, but apart from that, can be tricky. So I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10 as well.
Okay, Anand, final call with you.
Yeah, I think they did manage to get a few pieces, perhaps not their first choices. I'm with both Joyda and Deep on this. I'd say 6.5.
All right, awesome. From this side, let's go to another squad who seem to have ended on a bit of started pretty well and got a few nice big buys, but seem to have ended with just 4 foreigners in their squad for some strange reason. Let's talk about RR, guys. What went wrong for them and how would you rate that squad at this point? We can go opposite. We can start with maybe Anand.
Yeah, well, initial thoughts with RR was that it was a very imbalanced side. 4 opening batsmen, highly paid West Indian who's very flashy and perhaps not the most consistent player the world has ever seen.
Though in Delhi, he did play some very mature knocks on it last season. He was a different sort of a Hetmeyer at that point. But yeah, sorry to interject. Please continue.
Well, yeah, so that was the initial thought. But if you look at it, they have quite a few bases covered. I think they have solid spin options for the middle overs. They have decent quick bowlers backing up at the end. I think, it's like RR teams are always a little hard to understand because, they do little left field things. But they can be quite successful with them or they can crash and burn completely. Either of these things can happen. And actually, because of this openers conundrum that happened, I reached out to some people in RR yesterday and had a chat and tried to find out what is the logic. And apparently, the plan as of now is to open with Jaiswal and Butler play Padikkal at 3 and Sanju at 4, which is not. It's not something we would have planned, but that's the thinking in the RR camp at the moment. I don't know how well that's going to work. I mean, Sanju at 4 is an interesting one. So I would say, to rate the squad, I'd say it's a bit confused. So perhaps 6.
And also Sanju batting at 4, I'm not so sure how happy he will be with that. You know,
I think
everybody likes to.
rating will drop if they want to play him at 4.
Like, and also he's the captain. He might not agree.
Yeah, exactly. He did so well last year as well, like playing at 3.
He played at 3. Right? He played at 3.
Yeah, he played at 3. But whether we know in the top 3, you know, because in the first 6, everybody goes hammer and tongs. There are about 8 or 9 games that the number 3 gets in the first 4 overs. So that's almost being there. But 4 is a different ballgame. 4 often you go in the 7th, 8th over. And, you know, once you're used to batting in the power play, just straight away going and batting outside the power play is not easy. You know, so I feel also. I mean, I feel just couldn't get their heads around it. 4 overseas players every year. They've been heavily dependent on overseas players. This year only 4. So you know, sometimes you have some really good backup overseas players also, which you know the journeymen who play everywhere keep doing well. You know, you could have picked those guys up, but they had enough money. They still left with 6.2 crores, and they didn't pick up enough people who can do the job. So I'll give that a modest 5, I think. I mean, can't go beyond that.
Harsh, Jordan. Very harsh. Very harsh.
Well, they didn't go for anyone beyond 10, so we couldn't say like, you know, they don't have the money, they were stuck, they really wanted a player, they went overboard, and you know they're in a position where they couldn't bid for others. They still have the most money left, so I'd be interested to see if, like in the last segment, if they're going to have any big names from the unsold, if they're suggesting anybody and go for them. But 4 overseas is you know, I am like everybody are speaking. Yesterday, at least they looked like, you know, they're in the right path. Today it looks all the more confusing setup. Like I'm not quite sure what they have in their head. They did bid for a few people, but I still feel that, you know, if they wanted someone, they could have spent a little bit more and, you know, have that option.
How much would you rate RR, Veda?
I would say around. I was actually saying 6, but if they're going to bat Sanju at 4, I would say 5.5.
Hey,
you ditch me there with half.
Listen.
No, that's after
he wouldn't mind batting at 4. I think he wouldn't mind batting at. I think he wouldn't mind batting at.
I know. No, I don't think so.
I mean, it might not go down well with a lot of people.
I don't think so.
Last word on RR, please, before we move it 5 more teams. Producers telling me, hurry up, guys.
Okay, hurry up. I'd say this is the weakest squad so far. They still have an opportunity. Well, the last round, maybe quickly buy some middle order, because I don't see middle order there. I don't see middle and low middle order 6, 7. I don't see, apart from Josh Butler, out and out match winner. Maybe hit match to a certain extent. Bowling looks all right, but for me, the weakest squad so far. I think as we speak, they've started. KKR has already got Mohammad Nabi there. Yeah. So, I mean, again, someone like Mohammad Nabi, they could have easily gone for him. Rajasthan Royals, you know, somebody who can bat as high as 4, 5. So, having said that, the weakest squad for me, 5.5 max.
Wow. All right. Let's swing it up a little bit and go to a squad that's bound to get a lot of possible 8 and even 9s. Who knows? Maybe a perfect 10. We don't know. Lucknow, new franchise in the mix, but boy, were they on target from day one, right up till the end. I thought very smart, a lot of mind games, a lot of strategizing as well. Very quickly, everybody, let's rate Lucknow. I'm going to start with Veera.
I'd say one of the best auctions for them, like the first auction, but the best auction was Lucknow. It's like spending the last penny. They're left with nothing, and I think they were really smart with their buys, and I'm looking forward for that squad, how they would go and play in the IPL. For me, I would say it's about 9.5. Pretty impressive squad. Looks solid on the paper, looks solid otherwise also. So I'd go 9.5 to Lucknow.
Joyda, very quickly, Lucknow.
Yeah, I'll go with 9. Similarly, but these people, somebody like Sanjeev Goenka has been in an auction, has played an IPL final, so he knows he's in 2 years he got a team together. Yes, there were some players that were given to him, but he had to get the rest of the squad as well. So he's experienced, and that showed today. Also, people like Gautam being there was just showing all over.
Yep, Anand.
New franchise, but very old hands steering them. Gautam and as Joyda mentioned, Sanjeev Goenka as well. So yeah, I'm going to go with 9 on 10. I don't like to give a 10 because I don't think there's any such thing as a perfect squad, but 9's as high as I can go.
Well, RR just picked Nathan Coulter-Nine.
Okay, 5. Make that 5 for RR, guys.
But then that's the problem is they need somebody to bat higher than 6.
You don't need
Right?
a bowling.
Highest he can bat is 8 for me. So that does not help. They have enough people like that, Josh Hazelwood and all.
Just really surprised that no one went for James Neesham. Isn't that
They
a
might.
bit of
I mean, that's not a bad idea. I mean, when you're playing in Mumbai and Pune.
He's gone to RR for 1.5 crore.
Oh, he's okay.
Who?
Oh,
Jimmy Neesham.
2 crores. Yeah, 2 crores.
Good.
2 crores.
Very nice.
Coulter-Nine 2 crores. Jimmy
That
Neesham
makes
1.5
sense.
crores.
That makes sense. Had a recently very good. He's recently been very good form, batting, bowling wise. Probably fits in somewhere there in the middle order that you were referring to as well.
Yeah.
So he'll have to fit in. There's no other option at the moment.
Exactly. Yes. But yeah, sorry. We were talking about Lucknow Super Giants, 9 out of 10, top side. Very impressed with that side. I think that's like a really, really good side. Maybe one of the top sides squads in this year's IPL. Yeah.
Okay, moving choppily to the next new franchise. Probably wasn't as much in flair as their as the other new entrant, Gujarat Titans. Let's figure out how they rate very quickly. Where probably they could have done better, but let's be the big sorry, guys. Anand, starting with you. Gujarat Titans, how did they do?
Oh, it's the kind of team that I think has the foundations of what you need to do well in the IPL. I don't see any. It's not a standout team like the Lucknow team is, but it's not a team with holes in it like perhaps the Rajasthan teams. So I think they've done well enough. They have all the building blocks. I'd give them a 7.5.
Okay, awesome. Just to keep updating as well, Vicky Oswal, I was surprised that he wasn't picked by anyone, goes to Delhi for 20 lakhs, under 19 bowler. Coulter-Nine, as we mentioned earlier, for Rajasthan as well. Deep, very quickly, Gujarat Titans.
And Van der Dusen is also sold.
Yeah, Van der Dusen's gone to Royals, so that's good. But they'll be stuck. Anyways, the end of the day, they can only play 4 overseas.
I think Royals were waiting for about 8:30 on the second day to get going.
Yeah.
Watch out for them. They're in form.
Top order. Another top order batsman.
Super winner tonight.
8 now for RR. 8 overseas.
And so many top order options. Let's keep playing around. But yes, Gujarat Titans.
Gujarat Titans.
Darryl Mitchell has also gone to RR now.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I said make it 8.
Another opener. Wow.
Yeah, but after they realize they can only play 4 overseas there. Anyways, so Hetma is under a bit of a pressure now. But anyways, sorry. Gujarat Titans, again, a decent side. Again, I'm not too sure about that middle order. They did buy David Miller. It's not a bad buy. But then again, Riddhiman Saha, finally they got keepers. They got a couple of them, Riddhiman and Matthew Wade. So the issue is Matthew Wade. Yeah, he's batting at number 5-6 for Australia, 6-7 as well. Riddhi, more of a top order batter. Yeah, it's a decent side. I mean, Alzari Joseph, bowling looks good. Mohammad Shami, Lockie Ferguson, Alzari Joseph, Yash Dayal, watch out for that guy. He's really good. Yash Dayal is good. So yeah, good bowling side. Middle order, a little questionable. Obviously, Hardik's there, and Dominic Drakes and all. Yeah, I'm going to give it a 7.5.
Okay, all right.
He loves his halves. Yeah, I'll give it a 7. I think enough has been spoken.
But Joyda,
enough has been spoken. Enough has been spoken. I think we've covered all the bases. I think I'll give it a 7. I mean, they're pretty much in agreement with everybody who's spoken.
Veda?
I'd say 7.5. I like the squad how it looks. It is only about how they're going to get the batting order, because bowling looks solid, the batting looks solid. Middle order, yes, Hardik Pandya is there. If Matthew Wade plays at 5, I think that should be a solid top 5 with Shubman and Jason and Wade. It's about how they're going to get their overseas player, who they're going to play. So I think it depends on that. Overall, it looks like a decent squad. It's about how they put it on paper and get them on the ground for the games.
Okay, the next one is let's talk about Sunrisers Hyderabad. Started on a bit of a confused note, but seem to get a bit of their bearing though. How do you guys look at that squad shaping up? Quite a bit on Kane Williamson's shoulder. What do you guys think? Let's give the ratings. Let's start with Veda.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still confused about who's going to open for them, the batting part. They did buy Markram, but Markram is playing middle order for South Africa in the T20 format. That is something I don't know what they're going to go about, because they can't pick any other players. So that will be interesting to see if Kane is going to open, whether he's going to be fit, how they're going to shape up. But otherwise, as a bowling unit, they look good with Washington, Rajan, they did pick up Marco Janssen. So they look like a pretty good squad. They went for a heavy Indian uncapped batters who play in the middle order, but you can't just throw them in the games and expect them to do well. You need to groom them properly and get them into the setup. So I'm quite not sure. So I'd say probably around 6, because there's still a lot of uncertainty how they're going to go about. They've got players. So whether they're going to make it a right combination is something which I am worried or I am doubtful of.
Yes. 6 then for Sunrisers. Joyda?
Yeah, I think out of the 23 players, they have only 5 or 6 players who are playing for their country. So I think that's too low a number. If you just look at the daddy players, daddy teams, they have about 8, 9, 10. They have, out of the 7, maybe 4, the Indian players, maybe 3 or 4 are playing for the country. If you take a Chennai, and you see the others, the overseas players, 5, 6 of them are playing for their country. But if you say, Kane Williamson, Aiden Markram, that's 2 over there. Then maybe Nicholas Puran, then again Marco Jansen, Washington Sundar in the bowling department. Bhuvaneshwar Kumar in and out. So it's looking a really weak side for me, and I think they're lacking the firepower. Not having Rashid Khan, not having David Warner in the batting and the bowling department, they've not been able to replace. So I'll give it a 6.
Okay. Deep?
Well, I think they've recovered from where they were. I guess after yesterday. Yesterday they look like really, I think, really, depleted. But when I'm looking at Romario Shepherd and Aiden Markram, I think they've recovered quite a bit. The bowling is looking good. The bowling side is looking good. Not too sure about the top 6 though, Sunrisers. So I'm gonna go with 6.5.
Anand, are you going to be kind to Sunrisers?
Well, yesterday it looked a bit like Kane Williamson was running a summer coaching camp for kids. That's what the team looked like. They've changed the look of the team significantly since then. But I'm not really convinced about Aiden Markram at the top of the order. I was in South Africa recently and didn't watch a lot of his batting because he kept getting out very early most of the innings when he came out there. So I can't say I saw a lot of him, but I did see a lot of dismissal. I don't think he's in perhaps the best frame of mind. And as an overseas player, you have to pull your weight when you're playing in an IPL side. So again, I'm not.
He had a batters in trouble with his off spin, so that's been picked. He's bowling 8 overs.
But there's lots going on in South Africa. But there's lots going on in South Africa cricket as well at this point. That's obviously
always does. When does it not?
So yeah, go on.
I'm going to say 6.
Yeah. And that's it, right? We got everyone. Yes, we got. Okay, cool. That's an average of 6 as well.
Picks coming up. David Willey, Fabian Allen.
Maybe now goes to
Sodia,
Mumbai.
Arunja, Sai Sudarshan is in. He's in Gujarat.
Oh,
Mm.
finally,
I had a feeling that might make you happy.
Thank you so much, Joda.
So
Someone taking the lead to get some grooming. Nice.
two of the Tamil Nadu boys in Gujarat then. So they can speak to each other.
Sorry, but at least he has Sai. At least he has Sai for company.
Hey, but Veda, I think you've got Joyda and myself backing RCB anyways. Don't worry about it. A couple of Bengal boys there.
well, like
Yep.
I said, whatever they do, it's been like 14 years still expecting them to win. I'd still be rooting for them wearing the RCB jersey, but well, never know. This might be here.
So on that note, should we rate Royal Challengers Bangalore, guys?
Veda, go first.
Veda's got to start this.
You
Yeah,
have to
absolutely.
you have to set the tone for this.
No, I think I get too, overjoyed or over emotional about it, or really upset, and then I tend to talk a lot more. So I want I want
Interrupt you. I'll take your permission to interrupt you. Don't
I
worry.
want the others to talk, and then probably like if they miss out on something, I can add my point.
Okay, very quick rating, guys. I'm again being cued in by the producer. 5 minutes. We just have about 3 more
Right.
days. So RCB, let's crack on RCB.
Quickly, I think that's a good
yeah.
good squad. I think that's a good
Yeah.
squad. I think it's the first time the RCB squad is looking like a team, a unit, rather than Virat, ABD, maybe last year a
Big
bit of
names.
Glenn Maxwell. Yeah. So I think it's first time in a long time you're looking at that squad is like this is a proper unit, right? For whatever reason, because one, I think they've got the bowling side sorted as well, the bowling unit sorted as well.
Superb.
For most of the last few years, it was predominantly batting heavy, and then bowling will look after themselves or take care of themselves. But I think that looks like a really good squad to me. I'm inclined to go for what, 8 out of 10. I think that's a good squad actually.
They have a good bowling lineup for sure.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah. Anand, how much would you?
I think, yes, I think I agree with Deep. This is the first time the team looks like it has enough options to choose from to actually have a properly balanced 11 rather than just 3 match winners at the top of the order and then not very much else to follow after, which has been the pattern quite a bit in the past. And I also think Faf du Plessis, if he does lead this team, will make a massive difference because I rate him very, very highly as a leader and as a manager of people. When you have people like Virat Kohli and Glenn Maxwell and some serious players, big names in the mix, you also need management. I think Faf brings that. On the proviso that he is captain, I am going to say 7.5.
Nice. That was a good rider as well. Couldn't agree with you more. Joyda and Veda.
Yeah, I'll give it an 8 because the bowling looks superb. Josh Hazelwood, Mohammad Siraj, it really Harshal Patel. There's 3 there. Then you've got Berendorf as a standby. You've got some really good all-rounders. David Willey, Glenn Maxwell with the bat. Dinesh Karthik, he's been there, done it. Finn Allen, Faf du Plessis, Virat Kohli. I think the only player they're probably missing is a really good Indian top 3 player. Besides Virat, like a Padikkal or somebody who's done really well for them, like a young Indian player, or like a Rituraj Gaikwad. Just that's about it. But yeah, 8 on 10.
Okay.
I think they've invested. They've invested on Anuj Rawat. I mean, because I know he's flexible. He can open. He can bat at 6 as well. I mean, I really like that kid. I think he's a good wicket keeper as well. So maybe
I was
the
meaning
next.
more about a seasoned campaigner, somebody who's been there, done it. He's that sort of a guy.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, true. But I think Anuj Rawat is the way he plays for Delhi. It's phenomenal.
Veda?
Yeah,
Still
I
not
mean,
happy or-
no, I'd say like pretty happy considering how crazy they go in the auction. Just going for one player and spending most of their purse for one player, and then we've always had this thing with RCB that we are just name heavy and we are heavy on the paper. So I feel we don't see that in this auction. So I'm happy at least one thing they've ticked off. Like we were talking about Anuj Rawat, I did speak to someone in Delhi and was trying to get understand about how he is, and he's someone who's been brilliant for the Delhi team. There was apparently a game recently where he went hammer and tongs to Umesh Yadav. Umesh Yadav, no doubt, might not be in his flair, but he's still someone who bowls really quick, and especially red ball cricket is really good. So if he's gone after him in Ranji Trophy, and it is red ball cricket as well, so he's a left-hander, dynamic power hitter. So maybe they're looking to invest in him and give that confidence. Plus, at the same time, Mahipal Lombror as well, who's done really well. So I kind of like the way the team shaped up. They've even picked Finn Allen, who's done really well for New Zealand. So overall, it looks good. So I'd say 8.
Okay, awesome. Running out of time, guys. So we're going to quickly wrap up with 2 teams. I'm going to kind of ask you all to do it together. Oh, no, let's go separately. It's fine. Onto the team that I've really enjoyed watching in these last 2 days, barring a few little instances. But they've actually managed very well with a heavy purse going in. Haven't really thrown it about. Punjab Kings looks good on paper once again, but we know how that's messed up for them over the seasons. Rate them, please, in this one. Starting with you, Anand. Right, quickly.
I'm going to say this. I thought they were the most organized team in terms of getting what they wanted, in terms of getting pieces to fit together, in terms of buying match winners, but not necessarily superstars. So they didn't break the bank on any one player. I'm going to say 9 on 10.
Awesome.
They did get superstars, but they got for lesser prices. So I think they were lucky.
Amazing. You very rarely get the players you want for the money you think you should have it for. I think that worked for them. 9, cool. Deep.
I think along with LSG, as in Lucknow Super Giants, I think Punjab Kings the best squad. I'm going to go 9 out of 10. Good youngsters, senior pros, would be competitive this season, would be competitive in the future. I think that's a really good squad. Good mixture of youth and mavericks, and obviously experience. So I think, 9 out of 10.
Awesome.
Ditto.
9.
Ditto.
Same.
Thank you for giving it 9 as well. Okay, the last one, guys. The last team, Delhi Capitals. How did they fare? They had a lot going on as well, right from the start to end. How do you think they did on the auction table? We'll start with Veda.
Well, I like the powerhouse in the Delhi Capitals. I feel like they've got the big names. They've got good Indian players as well. So I see this as a very good team. Over the years, they've done really good as a team together. So I'm pretty much impressed with the squad. So I would say 8.5.
Okay, all right, Joyda.
Yeah, I think they're not as strong as they were last year. I feel they're just a little bit weaker if you see overall. So I'll give them an 8 also. They're a decent side, but they have to, again, get the mojo going. They had that with the team that they had. But right now, with a lot of the new players coming, Yash Tal, unknown, Rowan Powell, I know he's comes with a lot of promise. But Surfraz, what does he do? David Warner, new franchise.
Roman Powell has been brilliant, actually, with whatever he's played. I mean, I've seen him live. He's someone who can just take the game away, and there is no less of a player like that. They have players who can take the games away. So the top 5 is someone who can take the game away. So I
was surprised they didn't. Sorry, go on.
Go on, Joyda.
I was surprised they didn't go for somebody like a Shakib Al Hasan. I mean, just seeing the spinners over here. I mean, there's Kuldeep Yadav, and that's about it.
They have
Akshar Patel. Yeah, I know, but you can have. I mean, if you don't get a better spinner, then you can go with 2 left-arm spinner. He can bat. Somebody you would want in the squad.
So you go with 8, but interestingly, I spoke to some of the management, some of the guys at Delhi, and they weren't all too happy, though they do look pretty decent, though. But leaving it to the last 2, Anand and Deep. Anand, going with you. I'm going to let Deep have the last word. Your thoughts on Delhi?
I'm going to say it's a promising looking top order, but there are a few issues in this squad. I think they can put together a decent 11 on the park, no doubt. But again, it's not the pieces don't fit together quite as well as some other teams. So I'm going to say 7.5.
What about you, Deep?
You're on mute.
Sorry. I think they could have done with buying a few more bowlers in the sense, I don't know. I'm not too sure about Sakaria, Khalil, the Indian and Indian fast bowlers, and Shardul obviously is number 8. You will have Andrik Nokia, Shardul Thakur, and one Indian seamer. So I don't know. Maybe the bowling looks weaker as compared to batting, in my opinion. But I still think it's a good squad. I like that squad. Maybe not as good as LSG and Punjab. Maybe next level. So I'm going to give it an 8.5. I give 9 to them, so 8.5 to these guys.
Before we end, I just want to go back to RCB and say,
I thought you were going to thank us all. And
no, I'm just glad that they picked one of the Karnataka boys at least by the end of it. I was getting a little overjoyed because they were bidding for Karun. Little biased, he's a dear friend. So I thought, having him in RCB would, bring a smile on my face. They almost had him, but disappointed that we had to lose out on him. I just spoke to him. He was pretty excited to play for RCB as well. So, well.
Listen, we hope Bangalore brings a smile to your face this time. You never know.
And also brings the trophy back to her.
Isala Cup Namde.
Don't say that. That is jinxed. No.
Yeah.
Is the auction finally over?
I think the auction is over, and our producer is telling us, please, guys, now so let's wrap up this conversation as well.
Okay.
But it's been an
Great
amazing
fun. Thank you.
days with you guys. I think it's been fun. Thank you so much for all the company, the laughs, and your great analysis and insights. I've had a great time. Thank you so much, and keep watching this space for more RevSportz. We'll keep coming up with something new. Thank you so much, guys. Good night.
Great 2 days.
Thank you. Till next time. Thank you.
See you.
Okay.
Bye-bye. It was fun.
And here he is again. That's astonishing. It's absolutely world class. Only football can make you feel like this.